Brian Deneke had crushed the life out of Dustin Camp.
I am troubled by the fact, and I ask myself often, had Brian Deneke run over Dustin Camp in his car, would the sentence have been the same? Would the jury look past the spiked hair and the black leather jacket and see a young person doing something wrong in the same fashion? I don't know.
Many citizens of Amarillo believe that what happened to Brian Deneke was an aberration, a one-time tragic killing. But the punks are far from confident that that's true. They say that threats have continued since the verdict. They tell stories of teenage males in sports cars threatening to kill them. A few are saving up their money, and as soon as they can, plan to leave West Texas and move to New York City or California. Wade Goodwin, NPR News, Amarillo, Texas.
Well, that was very interesting to hear that. You know, it's obviously very saddening to imagine that, you know, all that hatred towards the punks, you know, in that town. And to hear the mayor at the time talk about, well, that's how gays are treated in most cities or a majority of cities over there, it's very sickening for that year, you know. You know, it's his talk like that that probably, who knows, you know, that made it normal for gay people to kill. Just think about it, everybody. Remember, Brian Deneke was killed on December 12th, 1997. Well, 10 months later, Matthew Shepard passes away due to his injuries of being beaten to death because he was gay. Isn't that a coincidence? Exactly exactly what's 12 months? 10 months later. Exactly. Isn't that something? Isn't that just a coincidence? Something to think about right there, people. You know, it's just the way, you know, sometimes these people have to be bare role models and give encouragement, you know, his talk just doesn't help prevent, and, you know, if that could be proven, you know, that, you know, his encouragement doesn't help. Things get worse, you know. Cities like even where I live in Fresno, California, they have like the gay pride, which I've personally never been there, but based on what I hear, it's basically a bunch of movies related, gay movies and so on. They have that every year at the Tower District. So not all cities hate gay people or people that listen to rock. In fact, they have a lot of stuff, you know. We have the Van tour thing, wherever they do this every summer. It used to be in July, but for some reason thought of doing it in September of this year, I believe. And there's a bunch of rock concerts. Usually it's been lastly been housed at the Salon Arena parking lot, which I don't know where, but at first it was at the St. Mart venue parking lot, but I don't know where it's going to be housed next year because they're supposed to be starting construction on building a more duplex with apartments, which I think are going to be for the upper class people, but I'm not sure. But a skate park, it'll be for everybody down there in downtown Fresno. Well, ice skating rink. They're supposed to be home to the Falcons, which they'll be basically moving back to downtown Fresno. They're supposed to, I don't think that might start sometime next year, but if it don't start on time, that construction, they'll probably have that thing in downtown Fresno rather than, again, likely at the St. Mart Center or some other big venue. I don't think Clovis. Oh yeah, I didn't bring up one other venue that would have been available as the Fresno Fairgrounds. For some reason they didn't use that yet, so that might be our last option if all in all it sounds like Fresno State may have not wanted it. At least it's not been housed there for the last, I think, 2 years now. First it was housed there, so it's going to be unknown where that's going to be at now. And so, but basically, there's all kinds of other stuff, you know. It's kind of sad to think that, you know, the way he talked, you know, about people, you know, of different groups, and, you know, it just tells me that he's not trying to encourage it. But the town does have other cultures, you know, they're there. There's no doubt. In the National Agency, I guess, Social Citizenship for Colored People, or whatever they call it, NAACP, I might not be pronouncing it correctly, but it basically helps defend for African American people's rights. That's what they really deal with, and stuff related to that. Basically, they wouldn't have one of their main people there if, you know, the town wasn't specialized in getting along with other people. But then again, these groups tend to pop up where they think they can find hate at, you know. Sometimes that's how it goes, sadly to say. Because, you know, wherever there's one dominant race, there's sometimes to be more racist in that one group, and that's always going to happen now, you know. But that's sadly a different politician, you know. Four is the KKKs, you know. We sometimes hear about Black Power and the Jane 6 and a lot of Latino groups and popping up on the news and on the internet now with different groups talking about how much they hate the European people. I ran into some of them. It's kind of sad just to see. You know, it's amazing how all these sites, but I guess freedom of speech, you know, if they're not supporting terrorist attacks, you know, I guess they can allow them on the internet, including some of these groups that seem to be putting racist stuff on the line, you know. But I'm not here to debate Klan, the Black Panthers, and these Latino groups that I've ran into online, you know. That's someone else's mess to deal with, not mine. I'm just here reporting about this story, you know. I guess I got better stuff to be doing than worrying about the 1960s. Let's just hope, you know, they work stuff out and we pray, you know, and the justice does need to be fair for those kids that are being charged and accused of murder, even though the kid obviously went to a school event later on. But he did have a lot of bruises, and they show the pictures. You know, that does, you know, pictures tell 1,000 words, but it's highly doubtful all of them were involved with that. Maybe some accidentally walked on and cops. I hate to say it, the Justice Department in that town, forgot where. Oh, it's New Orleans, Gina, New Orleans. Sounds, no offense, sounds like they're slightly racist, if not all the way racist. You know, not saying that people in the town is like that, but it sounds like their Justice Department sounds a little crooked, you know. And you know, one little sad case is in Fresno, California, a young little boy who sadly got killed. I think his name was Michael or something like that. He got beaten to death by a bully on November 1st of last year after he got out of school. And you know what justice they gave the bully? The same justice that was given to Brian Deneke. That was the sickeningest feeling that I ever felt, you know, when I seen that was the results. His family never got the day of justice, you know, that kid deserved. Poor little guy, you know. Maybe I could pull up a picture or something that was on the internet. Obviously be from something from the other news sites, but we find something, you know, to talk about the story. It's a very horrible result. It's just like similar to the Brian Deneke, you know. He got bullied by this kid more than once, and you know, and they still couldn't stop this kid. He went and slammed his head on the ground so he knocked unconscious, and then kicked on his poor helpless body. You know, one of his friends remembers the night before, which would have been Halloween, where she had gotten candy when she trick-or-treated at his place. That's the last time she saw him. Poor kid. That's very despicable and disgusting. The only thing I'd say about that is shame on the Fresno juvenile hall system for fouling on that case. And same with Don Morales, the juvenile system too, for fouling. It's disgusting. And then Gina, their court system sounds like garbage, and they got some improvements too, and I just hope it doesn't turn out like another failure in that case. You know, there's good cases where prosecutors went away. Even down here, they prosecuted Marcus Wilson, killed his own family, his own kids that had kids by him. He slaughtered them all. The case is still on BigAssBestNews.com. A lot of the other media have gotten rid of the links, so it's amazing we still have that if anybody wanted to read about that. But nevertheless, my name is Darren Garcia, and signing out. Good night. Cut.